Hey guys, so today I started therapy, yay. Actually put the wrong place in my GPS. Luckily it was, I'm gonna turn off my heat, that's fucking annoying. Okay, luckily the place I was going to was only a 15-minute walk from the place I put in my GPS, so fun times. Anyway, here I am. Today I'm going to be talking to you about tips for going out to restaurants when you have dietary restrictions. For me, every time I go to a restaurant, I realize that I'm taking on some type of risk, whether that be large or small, because I'm not the one who's creating the food, so I don't know, I don't get to see it cooked, I don't know exactly what's going into it. So take that at what you will, make your own decisions. However, I think there are things that you can do to help yourself in these situations, and I personally would not want to never be able to go out to eat again. So if that's your situation, there are plenty of great things that you can cook for yourself, and you can always eat before you go to a restaurant. If there's some sort of social event and you still want to go and be with people, you can always eat beforehand and then just go and get a drink. Or if there's some type of side that you feel safe ordering, like rice or french fries, go for that. But if you do want to be able to order at a restaurant, here are my 5 tips. So number one, might seem kind of obvious, but look at the menu beforehand. If you can pick the restaurant, that's even better. I always try to pick allergy-friendly restaurants, even if they've never heard of my specific dietary restrictions. Say they've never heard of low FODMAP or low histamine. Most restaurants haven't. But if they're known for being friendly for, say, gluten-free or for vegans, they're more likely to be willing to adapt their dishes, in my experience. Not saying that other restaurants won't, but these places are typically used to serving people with allergies, used to separating things in the kitchen if need be. They might take more precautions. Again, not universally, but will typically be able to modify things on their menu to accommodate you. However, even if you didn't pick the restaurant, I would definitely advise looking at the menu beforehand. I will always pull it up online and I'll take a quick scan to see if there's anything I think I can eat right off the bat. Usually that's not the case, but the next thing I'll look for is what could I modify that I might be able to eat. So if there are things that have certain bases that I know I will be more likely to eat, if it's something that's based with rice and I know that I would be able to eat that even if I can't eat everything in the dish, they might be able to make it in a way that I can. There's also certain types of cuisines that tend to be more friendly for me. There's different types of cuisines that might be more or less friendly to your diet, but regardless, usually, not always, but often you can find something on the menu that you think you'd be able to modify. So tip number 2 would be to call ahead. So you think that this dish might be able to be modified, but you don't know if they'll be willing to do it or if they can make all the changes in the way that you need them to, or if you have very severe allergies and you need things cooked separately so there's no cross-contamination. I would definitely call ahead. When you call ahead, ask to speak with a manager. The manager should either be able to answer your questions themselves, or they will be able to speak with the chef and then get that information back to you. It's really not something that they mind doing. I had a really good experience when I've called ahead to restaurants, and that can just give you a little bit of security so you know, is this gonna be safe or should I have a snack before I go? Tip number 3. When you're at the restaurant, try to get a sense of like your waiter's kind of understanding of allergies, comfortability. Like when you're explaining to them what you need, try to get a sense of if you feel like they're understanding you. Are they writing things down? you can always ask to speak with a manager if need be. If you feel like they're really not paying attention, you obviously want to make sure you're safe. I will say most waiters and waitresses are, again, used to this and will be very respectful and great. So I wouldn't jump to that as a first resort, but be as specific and detailed as possible. If you need something, give them all the information so that they don't miss anything. It's really awful, in my opinion, when people blame their waiters when really you just needed to be more specific. So if you need to be onion and garlic free, say you're on a low FODMAP diet, don't just say no onion, no garlic, because they might just think of the stuff that's in the meal, say it can't be cooked in garlic, if that's the case for you. Also, ask, this goes into that, but number 4 would be ask questions. Ask if they can make certain modifications, and even ask for things that aren't on the menu. A lot of times restaurants can do things, they just don't offer it straight on the menu. So if you are getting, say, gluten-free pasta and none of the sauces that are available for any of their pastas are acceptable for you, just ask, could you just do something, could you just use olive oil? Or could you just do a simple, lemon and herb? Whatever it may be. Again, I'm not going to get into specific diets. These are just examples, but ask for what you think might be, and if you see that there are ingredients elsewhere in the menu and they're just not listed for that specific dish, chances are they have it in the kitchen and they can use it for your dish. So don't be afraid to ask for substitutions or to even ask for things that you don't see, including actual meals that are not on the menu. If you go to a diner, for example, and you don't see a grilled cheese on the menu, but you can eat plain bread and cheese, you just can't eat any of the other stuff. Again, that's probably not a great example, but that's such a common thing. They probably have bread and they probably have cheese, and they can probably make that for you, even if it's not specifically on the menu. Again, not always, not universally, so you can't be, mad if they say no because it's not on their menu, but it never hurts to ask. Don't be embarrassed or shy at all. And lastly, number 5 is take notes. Write down what your experience was at the restaurant. Did you like the food? Did you not like the food? How accommodating were they? How did you feel afterwards? All of that kind of stuff, so that you can slowly start to develop a repertoire of places that you can eat and even places that you can't eat, so that when you're looking for a place in the future or someone suggests something, then you have that at your fingertips, and you can also be the one in the group to suggest specific restaurants that work for you. So I know these are all kind of basic, but they're not necessarily things that you would always think of. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be making some videos, I think, showing you how I look through restaurant menus and try to make decisions about if it's a good place to go, if it's not a good place to go, and what I may or may not be able to eat. So stay tuned for that. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, do what you will. And if you have any video suggestions, please leave them in the comments or feel free to send me a message. Thanks, guys.